Hey, everybody. Welcome to our first live broadcast of the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll J and RJ.
I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And I'm RJ.
Hope everybody's having a great Saturday afternoon. We decided that because we all had scheduling conflicts this week that we were going to do a live episode this week and hope that it goes really, really well. So we're going to try to be on our game, not cuss, not try to gross each other out, make each other laugh too much. We will possibly have a couple of special guests along the way. But we want to welcome everybody. We want to say thank you to everybody. We really do appreciate all the love and support you guys give us right here on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram, on our Reddit pages. We love the fact that everybody's listened to us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcast, and Podbean. So we really appreciate all the love and support we're given. And guys, we really I'm feeling very lucky this week just because I got to visit you two and go rub one of y'all's heads because you just came back from Vegas. And I know that's probably where Jesse P's at right now. He's hanging out over the Bellagio casino, looking down, wishing he could pull one of those handles on one of those slot machines.
He's at the big casino in the sky.
Yeah, well, he's probably already won $100 million grand. So, how was the trip out there, boys?
I really never have any complaints. I love flying. Actually,
especially since he's got spoiled and flying on a private charter jet.
Not even that.
I will tell you this. I used to travel for a living, guys. Y'all know that. A lot of people know that about me. I did it for many years, and you're right, man. It is one of the things that I miss about my old job is the travel, because I liked it. Living out of a hotel sucked. Having to go stand in line at the rental counter to rent a car.
Yeah.
But the travel part, the flying part, was always really cool to me. I loved the feel when the jet took off. And when it just revs the engine and then goes and you get pinned back to your seat, and then it feels like you're riding up in the elevator going up, and when you're coming down, it feels like you're coming down in the elevator. I missed the air travel part of it, so I try to do that as much as I can, but I didn't get to go in a private jet like some other people.
Yeah, and
cue the Vivaldi over here.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that it's better, but even when I first started flying, like the very first time I flew, I was a little nervous, because I grew up in the post 9/11 era. And, obviously even without, international interference, I guess, there's always a threat that something can happen to the plane. It's just inevitable. But ever since the first time I've taken off in a plane, I guess because I went in thinking, this is going to be terrible, but it wasn't. And so I love, like you said, I love the feeling of taking off. And I also love the feeling of landing.
Yeah.
And honestly, like depending on, what the flight is for and where I'm going, I can honestly knock out, right after takeoff and just sleep till I get there.
It's all fun and games until you hit that first really serious pocket of turbulence.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story about a time that I was going from North Carolina down to Florida, and it was in the middle of, and I have this video, and I'll show it to you, RJ. I actually took video of it, and it's on my Facebook. So we flew through a thunderstorm, right? And
wow!
Nighttime. It's dark.
Yeah.
And I have, I took my camera and I turned the video on and I just put it up to the window and you can just see the lightning, Well, we were flying through and we hit a little pocket of turbulence and, of course the pilot comes on, everybody, I need y'all to buckle up. Everybody stay seated. And then there was a point where we hit a big pocket of turbulence and the plane dropped straight down like 50 feet, just went just like that. Dude, that was the scariest moment of my life. Like it's just like a drop. It's like when you get on one of those rides at Six Flags where the bottom just drops out from underneath you. That's what it felt like. And it was scary. I mean, everybody yelled, everybody was screaming, but they got control. It was never anything serious. It was just a sudden drop, and it was,
Well, unfortunately, Vegas is one of the destinations that always has turbulence. I
Yeah,
mean,
because you're landing in the mountains.
that's right. And so there's always going to be a bit of turbulence. Sometimes some flights it's less, sometimes it's more.
Yeah.
And so flying into Vegas on an annual basis, you kind of get used to it.
Hmm.
So I really don't. But I was like you the first few times flying out there, man. I mean, I think for those of us that have the feeling of when you don't like that feeling of falling because you don't
Yeah.
have any control, that's one of the probably the most fear-inducing feelings that you can have.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but it's just gotten to the point where I've gotten so used to it, and then I just I told myself a long time ago, look, I have no control over it. Only God does, and I clearly put my faith and my life in God's hands and let Him. I mean, His will is going to be done anyway, so
Yeah.
I figure if He wants me to land and be safe, I'm going to land and be safe, and if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So I think I've gotten a lot more used to it. But we did have a nervous flyer with us on this flight.
Yeah.
We took a larger crew than what we normally do because usually it's just the three of us or maybe four.
Yeah.
But this time we brought a number of extra people down there because the restaurant group that we're helping to grow, Golden Chick, in Las Vegas, is brought out some operations folks. We brought a couple of people from corporate. Go look at the market, some of the sites that we're targeting. But one of the other passengers is very well. Actually, a couple of them are very nervous
Yeah.
flyers.
Yeah.
And so when we started hitting those pockets of turbulence, I mean, you could see the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
gripping the seats and
It's
everything.
funny
And
because my wife is a nervous flyer, so she gets real bad motion sickness. That's why we don't go on boats a lot, and that's why we've never been on a cruise because she gets real bad motion sickness, even when we're in the car sometimes. And so
Yeah.
there's times when we get up in the air and she'll grab my arm because we always sit next to each other. She'll grab my arm and she's, the nails are digging into my hand and but it's fine because you're gonna have those kind of people. I just enjoy it. I like it.
yeah. I did,
So I was going to say, so RJ, how was, I know that you have a little something to say about Las Vegas. I know you had a little negative feedback that you wanted to give the city of Vegas. So let's hear this.
Yeah, I don't want to say I want to say it's negative feedback because honestly, I love going out there. We've been going out there since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So in some respect, I think because I've been there the most, to me, it's kind of like I don't know, maybe second home's a little strong, but definitely one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah.
And so when we went out there, we went out to have a meeting. That was really the main reason for the trip. And I really, I took 3 shirts and 4 pairs of pants. And I ended up wearing all 4 pairs of pants, but I needed another shirt because I didn't think that I was going to wear 2 shirts in one day, but I ended up having to, not because of spilling food or anything, just because of the way the day went. And, the shirt, I needed a nicer dress shirt for the meeting. And obviously the meeting wasn't until night. So I didn't want to get it wrinkled by wearing it all day. Anyways, so I wanted a new kind of polo just to wear around for that last day. And obviously wanted something Vegas themed. But, obviously I'm a Stars fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. And, while I don't necessarily have any issues or beefs with the Raiders or the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah. I wasn't necessarily looking to get a polo for one of those teams. But by the same token, because this was very last minute, I wasn't looking to drop, 130 or more on a nice Ralph Lauren or Nike Dry Fit Bellagio polo. So I guess more than anything, my rant or, issue is they need to have more. I guess what I was looking for was just a black polo with Vegas and gold letters, you know, it could have been Nike Dry Fit, it could have been whatever, but something just kind of generic. You know, every hotel has polos with their name on it. You know, and I'm trying to more have something for the city, not a specific hotel.
So the only
Go ahead.
observation I have is buying souvenirs and memorabilia directly from the hotel gift shop is the worst place to go.
That's a sucker's bet, man. That's like
yeah.
Playing at the casino to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think the other thing too is it was kind of a spur of a moment thing. I mean, if you'd have planned, you could probably go online and buy a shirt if you'd have, thought about it before, but buying it on the fly and really only going from hotel to hotel, you were setting yourself up for disappointment anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't know that I have anything to dispute that, but
I think John Gruden takes offense to the fact that you didn't want to wear a Las Vegas Raiders jersey.
Hey, well, you know what's funny is in Las Vegas, certainly there you've got your Raider fans, and there's a lot of them. But I sure did see a lot of Cowboy stars out there too. So
and don't get me wrong, they have a nice stadium, you know.
Yeah, oh, it's a really neat stadium. I mean, we've been at one of these trips out there. We can carve in a little bit of time to actually go tour the stadium because it's really impressive driving by. Now, for me, Vegas generally means business. Most of the time that I'm out there, it's because I'm either going to the real estate convention, or like we're here recently, RJ and I going scouting sites for our clients, learning the market. We do a lot of driving, so we don't really spend a whole lot of time on the strip. We don't spend a whole lot of time at the hotel. Usually the hotel is to come back, relax for an hour maybe before we have to go to dinner, come back, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and then we're back out on the streets. So, I think Vegas, I view it more as it's just work. So, I mean, it's not as nearly, I guess the glamour for me is not nearly as strong. However, I will say it's very picturesque, man. It's when you get out into some of the suburbs and you see the mountains in the backdrop.
Oh man,
it's beautiful. It's beautiful landscape. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a couple of guests. I think one of them is Joe Biden, right? And the other is Donald Trump.
Yeah,
bring them in.
One's Trump's
Speaking of Nevada.
Well, our first guest is, of course, a frequent contributor to the Now That You Mentioned It podcast. It's our brother Gabriel. Hey,
what is up?
Welcome to the podcast.
What is up, guys? How you doing?
Hello,
awesome, man.
Hello.
This is pretty cool. You guys are actually live, so I love this.
Yeah.
I'm taking a page out of your book.
Yeah.
So
I know, right?
Before we go
too much further, though, I need to remind Gabriel of his the agreement he signed 2 shows ago that he's got to not say anything on this show that will get us banned from the airwaves.
FCC's watching closely whenever.
That's right. So,
all right, and our second guest, this will be his first time coming on our broadcast. He is, of course, one of our other brothers and one of our financial whizzes. I want to welcome to the program our brother Efren.
Whoa!
Renee,
whoa,
up,
man!
buddy?
Look at that! Whoa! My God!
Got him out of the woodwork.
Hey!
Oh man!
Hey, girls!
What's going on, guys?
Why you call yourself Mondo, homeboy?
I was just about to ask, what's with the Mondo?
Because when I called him, he was watching The Mandalorian.
You don't watch Mandalorian?
Yeah, I watched it. I've seen every episode.
That's for Star Wars geeks.
Oh, right. Geeks.
Mando.
What do you have against Star Wars?
What's going on?
So,
it's never going to win an Oscar for acting or anything like that.
There you go.
It's got its place.
Is that one of your favorite shows? I take it.
Yeah, right now it is.
Yeah.
I like it. It's I've enjoyed watching The Mandalorian.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's good. I just
It's
haven't.
good.
I just
It's
haven't had the
super
time.
different than whatever else is Star Wars has put out, other than the Rogue One. Rogue One was very good.
Yeah, Rogue One was real good. I agree with you there.
And I even liked the Han Solo film.
I did too. I liked it. I really did.
Those
like
were very good stories. Man, they were
Yeah.
great stories. I could not stand the third trilogy. That guy, what's the director's name there?
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams
Yeah,
and then
Ryan, what's his
Star
name?
Trek
Ryan
too.
Johnson. Ryan Johnson kicked the second one in the nuts. It just made it.
Well, both of them. They tried to reboot both those series, Star Trek and Star Wars, and they were massive failures. Those were horrible films.
I'd have to agree with you because honestly, I think I've only seen the first one that he did, and after that, I just couldn't really get into it.
Well, I will tell you guys this as a Star Wars purist, and just because of my
God.
great love of the franchise, I have seen all the movies. They do have some of the movies do have their issues, but I would watch them all again just for the simple fact that it is
Me
Star
too.
Wars.
That's
Me
not
too.
the point. That's not the point.
Dude,
Of course, you're going to
let me
watch
tell
it
you
all
what,
over again.
if they really wanted to make reboot or not reboot, but if they really wanted to make Star Wars great again, they would bring the Thrawn
God.
trilogy to the big screen, dude. If
How
you
about
guys
the
don't know
good
about
scripts?
Grand Admiral Thrawn, y'all are missing out.
Write a good script, man. That's all I'm saying.
I'm telling you, dude. Read the Thrawn trilogy, and that's the script, dude. That's it right there. That's the next storyline for Star Wars. That's where they need to go.
Well, guys, we could spend all the time on the galaxy, far, far, far away. But let's talk about planet Earth. More specifically, let's talk about the United States of America. And even more specifically, let's talk about the fact that we now have a newly elected president-elect, Mr. Biden.
Oh, did that happen?
Vice President Biden.
Joseph Biden.
Joseph Biden.
Right.
So-
So
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Neil,
if you look there, right there on my
Wow, you
share
guys don't
screen,
seem too excited.
you'll
at
have the
all.
actual
I'm
feed.
actually
It's
very
feeding in from
excited. We
CNN.
finally got this thing over with. Huh?
yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right.
Man.
I mailed in a couple of ballots.
Hey, don't say that
Well,
on air, man. Trump's going to use the
Man,
footage
you're
on this. Trump's going to use the footage of what you just said, and he's going to launch a whole investigation because he's going to say, "Look, this guy
That's gonna
clearly
be the
admitted on." Huh?
The basis for his lawsuit.
So here was the thing. Tuesday night, I went live, and I was going to go live, and
I saw that.
I said, "Hey, we'll go live until they figure out who's going to win."
5 days
And
later, he's still alive.
And then when I realized, I said, "This ain't happening tonight," I cut it like 2.5 hours, and I said, "You know what? We're bailing because this ain't going to happen tonight." And of course, I still streamed live all week, but not consecutively. That would have been massive failure.
I stayed up. I was up till midnight. Actually, a little bit later, which I shouldn't have because I had a flight the next morning. But I stayed up watching as much of the coverage as I could.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is it just like in sports, just like in everything else, all these so-called experts and analysts, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Hell no, they don't.
They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just filling time, right? They're just filling time.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's crazy.
And you
And
got to
see,
think about it this way
is
too.
why
You-
I don't.
I just
This
wanted
is
to
why I don't buy into
news.
polling, dude. Because the polls, look, whenever they do those pre-election polls, they are so far out of whack because it only matters who they're polling. If you're polling in an area that's pro-democratic, of course you're going to get a poll that leans Democratic. If you're polling in a place that's pro-Republican, you're going to get a poll that leans Republican. So those polls are just they're so full of BS. You can never tell.
And you're also basing the polls on the honesty of the person that you're polling.
Exactly.
How do you know that you're not dealing with somebody? All they're trying to do is skew the data one way or another. We can all say, we believe that most people are going to give honest answers, but how can you honestly say? I mean, I could walk in and say, yeah, I voted for Biden, and the very next time I take a poll, yeah, I voted for Trump. I mean, and you know, and so now I've been polled twice, right? And I've given two different answers. And so now my data is, you know, and it's just, to me, it doesn't, I agree with you. I think polling is really useless.
It is.
So did everybody here vote?
No, you can eat your cookies. Yep.
Yeah, voted.
Okay.
Go.
Voted
Yeah,
Joe Jefferson.
You wrote in Joe
Oh,
Dirt?
wow.
Mm-hmm. I did not. I don't like Biden, and I don't care for Trump.
I
voted for Kanye.
You're one of the 64,000 that he got votes from.
Yeah, I voted for Joe. I voted for Joe.
Where did I go wrong that my son voted for Kanye?
Kanye.
Wow.
Could you imagine
Oh my God.
his wife being first lady, man? Could you imagine that?
First Lady Kim Kardashian.
Oh,
You
I
think
guarantee you that she
what's her
could.
name?
I
What's
guarantee she could.
Trump's wife?
Melania?
I mean, obviously, that's a bad. It was just a bad gig for her
Yeah.
and for him.
Yeah.
He should have never been president.
No,
Well, you know
I
what?
completely agree with you.
And we've had this
hold on.
discussion about-
I just want to say this. Not that I'm a Trump supporter in any way, but what I do think Trump represented was a slap in the face to Washington and telling people, wake up, because you're not listening to us.
Obviously, we're still 50-50. I didn't think that the race was going to be as close
This
as it
close.
was.
Yeah.
You know, and
If you go around my neighborhood and you see all these Biden signs, you would have thought, "God, this guy's it's a landslide."
yeah. No, but listen, but for Trump's, to me, the weakness of Trump's presidency was his inability to truly lead. The guy was only about ego. He only ever gave himself credit, never took any of the criticism in the right way.
He's a businessman. He's not a politician.
Right.
And obviously it was just a bad fit. But you're right in saying that America did not change when he came on board.
Right.
They just didn't know what they were getting.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't know what he was about.
Well, I hope this wakes up because, you know, we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago about how I couldn't bring myself to vote for Trump. And I'm a lifelong Republican, but I also could not bring myself to vote for Biden. I voted independent. A lot of people got on my ass about that, and that's fine. You know, that's their opinion. But I hope that this wakes up the eyes of our Republican Party for them to find a leader that they can, you know, believe in, get behind, that is not a freaking
egomaniac.
Not only an egomaniac, but a freaking reality TV star. I mean, come on, man. Let's open our eyes and let's figure out what our policies, where we are, what we need to be about. And in the next election, let's nominate somebody with some sense.
Real quick,
what do you think Jumex has, man?
for our audience, for those of you that haven't seen the movie Idiocracy, please watch that movie.
We just lived the past 4 years of
electing
it.
Trump was
Exactly what happened.
very scary, right?
Mhm.
And there's been talk about The Rock running for president, which how could you know what's more true of that movie of Idiocracy than
problem is
voting for a former pro wrestler as the president of the United States?
Well,
I don't know, man.
And they're thinking that, well, maybe it can happen. Maybe it should happen this way. Maybe, you know, somebody who's similar to The Rock or something should be president, because in movies, that's what's depicted there, you know.
Oh, and let me go on record. I'm a big fan of The Rock, first of all. I'm a huge fan of The Rock.
Mhm.
I am. I'm a tremendous fan of The Rock. But what it tells me is that our society votes for the popularity, and we just don't care enough about the
They're
issue.
just not making any more Martin Luther Kings, man. Somebody who can pull it all together.
Yeah,
That's a good
and
point. Yeah.
really have a way of
Bringing
explaining
people
it to everyone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just not that anymore. I don't know where those people are. And even when the Black Lives Matter movement came aboard, I was always wondering, like, where is that person? Where is this person who's not just pointing fingers in a way that it's not helping.
Yeah.
I don't know where that person is. I don't know where you're gonna find that person.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sure
not
you find
sure.
it in politics right now, in the government.
Yeah. I'm not sure where you find it either, but anyway,
This is
I,
our
I,
problem.
I'm really excited though. I'm
the
looking
youngest
forward
one.
to change. What's that?
He said it's my problem.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find those people, man.
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't know, man. President Camacho was pretty awesome.
Boy.
Mhm.
Okay, so I pooched this the last time, but I want to say it this time, right? Because I got it pulled up. So it was
Okay.
for me the sort of deal where, again, let me repeat the Mae West quote that she said was, "Between the two evils, always pick the one I've never tried before." So you know what Trump is. You've lived through 4 years of it, and even if you don't like Joe Biden, I mean, are you ready to sign up for another 4 years of that? For me, the answer for me was pretty quick. No.
Right. Yeah.
I think the problem, like with that, and even you can even apply this to the 2016 election, is that in some regards you did know what Biden was, because it's not like he's fresh to the political scene.
Yeah, you're talking
There
about
are
38 years in politics.
there are people. I mean, he was vice president, and even Hillary. I mean, obviously she's been in roles in politics, never president, but you kind of knew what she was. You knew what Biden is because.
Well, but here's my thing. Here's my thing to that, though. Right? He was the vice president. He wasn't front and center. Yeah,
No,
you
but
might
he's been
you might have
but
seen
he's
him.
got a long track record as a politician,
Well,
Gabriel.
I mean,
you,
a lot
know
of
who he is.
I
That's
know
why
that,
they're touting Harris.
but
In
here,
fact, a lot of times I would get things in the mail that said Harris, hey, vote for Vice President Harris, and I'm like, what? This is very weird that you would get.
Well, it's because
that way, right?
yeah, but they were marketing for.
People will think they obviously knew that we have a problem with Biden, and we need that person that it's going to put him over the edge.
Well, let's talk about that too. Okay, pretty historic. We've never had a woman that high in power. I mean, she's one step away. Something happens to Joe Biden to being Madam President, right? I mean, to me, that's kind of huge.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, why are we so behind the times? Obviously, the rest of
the rest of Europe all had plenty of
female presidents or female dictators. I don't know what I mean. Come on, man.
Right?
Why are we barely getting a female vice president? This happened like years and years and years ago.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the times it's just that you're playing on the insecurities of a lot of males, right? They're just
Not
like, I can't let a woman. But kids, you're working with the stigma there. You're working with the stigma of, hey, this is a female. They're irrational. They're all the things that you've heard, right? The reason I speak up about this is because I have 4 daughters I have to raise. I have 4 daughters. I have to show them in the world that, hey, you are no less than any man in this world. No less than any man. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how you say that. But to me, that's what I push for every single day. So showing them something like this is something for me that I love to let them see, because again, you're taking down a lot of the barriers of saying, hey, you can't accomplish much because you're a woman. To me, no, that does not fly in my book. If there's something that I fight for a lot, and there's one of them right there, right? She's over here. She just had a birthday. She just turned 6, so she is in her princess garb. There she is, guys.
Happy birthday to you.
But again, you want to give them an example that, hey, this world or whatever, you can accomplish whatever you really want.
You know,
Those examples exist.
you guys did bring up a great point, because in all honesty, in Hollywood, we've you know, and again, in Hollywood, we've had a female vice president. If you remember the movie with Harrison Ford, where he plays the president of the United States, his vice president was Glenn Close. That
Yeah.
movie came out almost 20 years, over 20 years ago.
Well,
I think.
HBO had
HBO, I was about to say, Veep with
Yeah,
Julia
Veep.
Louis-Dreyfus, where she's been a female vice president for the last 8 years or whatever.
So
You know, so it's not so far fetched that America can't believe it. It just has never happened. I mean, it was the same thing when Barack Obama got elected. Why did it take so long for us to get an African American president? You know, and unfortunately, as a country, we still haven't accepted the fact of having a woman president. But having a woman vice president is a really big step. I applaud her for that. You know,
and
I
again,
just
even
hope that the
even
next 4 years are going to be. Well, I know that they will be way different from the last 4 years. You know, there's not going to be, I don't think, as much finger pointing and as much blame as there has been in the last 4 years, just because.
I think you're wrong, but
No, you're wrong there, man. This
I think
country
you're wrong.
is lit.
Yeah.
This election has shown that this country is way split.
Yeah.
We are 50-50, if not that
Well,
right there on the borders here.
First of all, there does have to be a healing period, bro.
Mhm.
But I will tell you this: I think you are wrong, because if you look at the congressional races, there was not the pendulum only swung one way when it came to with the presidential. I think it's still going to be a little bit contentious no matter what. I think what has to happen, though, is we have to have somebody that's sensible, that listens to his advisors.
Well, and I think that's where I
Who
was
doesn't
going
have
with
the
this
ego
when I
to
said
sit there
that.
and think that he's the
What I
only
mean
one that
by
knows
finger
what's the
pointing,
best
I
for
don't
this country.
mean per se a whole party pointing at. I'm talking about one person who was doing the finger pointing. It was Donald Trump. He acted like a CEO.
No, Pelosi did a lot of finger pointing too,
Yeah.
bro. Come on.
Yeah, and let's be honest, she has
can't-
to go too.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't.
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
Man,
You
come on, man.
that's-
When you go
that's-
on record as right in the middle of address the union address and tear up a speech in front of everyone, that's sending a message. That's sending a message that I don't care about you. That's not someone who's saying, okay, we need to work with you. You know, obviously you're in power and we need to work with you. What are your weak points? What are your strong points? And we need to come up with a plan so we can meet somewhere, maybe not 50-50, but closer to where both our parties can be happy. That didn't happen at all, because both parties are so far apart right now. They're just so far apart. It's disgusting. It's hard to be.
well, and for me, I think there's if you really want to change the stigma of how a lot of these people in political office run things, there's two words. They won't ever do this, but there's two words that will change that stigma. It won't. I don't think it'll come into my lifetime. Maybe in my kid's lifetime. I don't know. But they're called term limits. So
Yeah.
if you were to give
Amen to that.
if you were to give term limits to senators and the House of Representatives, it would change to say, you know what, I have a finite time here. At this point, you could get elected and spend your whole career in office. And
we talked about this in the past on this show, is that we're all big believer in term limits. You know, we talked about the fact that you know, I was telling the boys that, you know, that documentary about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and when she became a Supreme Court justice, and when you watch the video of her confirmation hearings, the people that are sitting at the table during her confirmation hearings, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, what's his face, the other old guy,
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
I was going to say that's like half of Congress right there.
All these people.
What do you want it? Poo-poo, move.
35 years ago.
And they're not going to give up that power.
They're not.
No,
and they're still there. So if it's, I don't see why they're such a big, you know, for them, it's good for the goose. It should be good for the gander. They believe in term limits for the president. Why not believe in term limits for your own job? You don't need to be there for 35, 40 years. This is Joe Biden's 45th or 46th year in
Come on.
in politics at a national level.
Mhm.
3 times he's run for president of the United States. This is the first time he's won. But the fact that he was still a senator before he became the vice president and all this stuff, the guy's been in power for almost damn near 50 years. Bro, that's your whole life, man. That's my whole life. That this guy has been in Congress and been in power. So why is he still there?
Come on.
You know, I just
No idea.
term limits should be good for Congress as well.
Right.
And the crazy thing is that there's people who believe that by saying that we're crazy because you know, in essence they think that we're insulting the Constitution. Not realizing that it's already been amended 27 times. But you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is other than term. We need term limits.
Wrote the Constitution. They never intended for somebody to make a career in politics.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be, hey, serve your country to the best of your ability, and then go on about your life. You know, go back to your farm or go back to your whatever you're doing. Don't sit in Congress for 50 years.
Well, and the other thing I would say, RJ, is when you talk about the number of amendments, we should really be saying it's only been amended 27 times.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean
true.
that's an extraordinary document. That document, the spirit behind it, and the freedom and everything that it represents,
far less than any other constitution in the world.
Well, and it was drafted by men that had no clue what 200, 300 years down the road is going to look like. Nope, they had absolutely zero clue.
Obviously,
what that looked like.
For is they're you know, they obviously they're not going to amend the Constitution, but there can be you know, court rulings that can change the law.
Well, I mean, and I said, you know, if you want to change, at least start in the right direction of how to change the stigma of what politics is. That's one way to start. I mean.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, it won't happen in my lifetime. I'll promise you that.
Obviously, we still have a lot of things to work through with our government. And one of the best ways is for us to continue to exercise our right to vote. So for all of us and for all of you that out there voted, I applaud you for exercising your right because you made a difference. But you know, enough politics for now. Let's talk about some fun stuff, right? So how about them Cowboys?
Oh God!
Okay, all right. Let's talk about something else. Then.
I do have hopes for the Cowboys. Yeah, I want that back.
So I want to talk.
No, please.
What? What did he say?
He said he wants Dak back.
Bring back Dak, baby.
The Ben DiNucci era didn't do it for you.
Oh God!
His whole one game.
The Nooch.
Well, you know, it's a little hard to criticize Nooch because they didn't really let him sling it or anything.
Cowboys, it was so bad. I lost a bet that I actually had to wear a Philadelphia Eagles hat on the air all week while I was streaming. Exactly right. I got the hat over
here. You should have never made that bet, bro.
Yeah.
Well, we made this we made this bet. We made this bet back in June or July. So this was prior to knowing anything that would happen. We circled the day and said, you know what? When our teams play, we'll make a bet. And the whole thing was if I won, my former podcast partner, she would have to wear Cowboys gear on her live streams while she was going live. And then my thing was I always wear a hat in my show. So I would have say, if I lose, I'll wear a Philadelphia Eagles hat for a week.
You should have just wore a trash bag. It would have been the same thing.
That would have been a good one to use, right? So
that's a good one. That's my boy right there.
I was there you go. So that was
Eagles hat around here, man.
Huh?
Where do you find an Eagles hat around here?
It was tough. I'm going to tell you what. It was tough to find. Good. And I'm gonna.
Did you burn it afterwards? I pray you burn that damn thing.
I still have it because. Well, here's the thing: is I still have it because what I'm gonna do right is
for Amazon, huh?
I'm gonna go put it in I'm gonna do what Skip Bayless did and just go over to the trash can and just film me throwing it in there and then make my own GIF and then I'm gonna send it. Yeah, exactly right.
put gasoline on it, throw
Yeah.
a match in there.
I
And
told her,
I don't mind clogging the toilet with calling the plumber and getting it fixed later on, man. Flushing that thing down the toilet.
Oh man.
no, believe me, I had so many people asking me on my live, say, hey, what's up with the hat? And I would tell them, I
made
did
a stupid bet.
I made a stupid bet. Hey, leave him alone, please. I said I made a bet back in June before I knew all this was going to happen, and
I just
man,
think guys suck.
I got so
I can't believe that they even won a Super Bowl. First of all,
you know.
It's literally the same team.
Was stupid luck. That's all it was.
It had to have been, 'cause, man, that team sucked. This is the same team.
Yeah,
Well,
like
it's
they
not the
say,
same thing because
even a
the
blind
quarterback
squirrel
got
gets
him-
in that once in a
The
while.
quarterback that got him to the Super Bowl is not there anymore because it wasn't
right.
Carson Wentz that got him there.
Yeah, you know what? And thank God we don't have Carson Wentz in Dallas. I'll take Dak
Oh.
Prescott 100 days out of 100 times out of 100 times over Carson Wentz.
Easily.
Of course.
Because that was Nick Foles that got him to the Super Bowl. That was not Carson Wentz that got him
I
there.
know that's right.
Well, luckily we won't have to deal with the Cowboys too much longer
So,
because
I
Mavs will
wanna
be
take an
resuming in
opportunity
December.
to talk about iPhones.
Oh god.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
The old man segment of the week.
I thought it
Actually,
was, man. I don't
what I want to talk about is what an ass whipping it is. Every time you have to switch your phone over.
Yep.
You know, I have been a long time Sprint customer. I was actually Sprint when I originally got my phone number, the number I still have. Primeco was the company that I actually got my phone number.
Oh wow.
Jesus Christ, dude. That's a blasphemy.
That's how long I've had the number, right? So Sprint bought it. I've been with Sprint forever. And then, of course, as you know, T-Mobile just recently acquired Sprint. So we've been going from the transition from the Sprint mobile network onto the T-Mobile network, right?
Dude,
And
T-Mobile sucks, man.
You have T-Mobile?
No, my wife does. I have AT&T, brother.
Yes.
and so I've prepped
The
out.
great AT&T.
So, oh my goodness. So anyway, here recently, we went to upgrade our phones because we had a
I all about the promos, man.
and
Give him some money.
and so unfortunately, when I upgraded phones, the fine people at the store don't know how to get all my information off of one phone and put it on the other phone. So I've been carrying around two phones like a knucklehead for 2 weeks as I slowly get the information from here to here. Right?
Did they tell you had to go to the Apple store or something?
What's that?
Did they tell you have to go to the Apple store?
No. He told me, hey, we can take care of it. We're going to do all this wirelessly, back up your phone. We're going to send it to your new phone. No problem. 2 weeks later, still ain't done yet.
Problem.
Biggest problem is I'm not tech savvy enough to really do this on my own. I'm such an idiot. But anyway, I mean, have you guys had the same issues whenever you've upgraded your phones, or has it been just piece of cake for you? Well, part of my problem, number one, is because of my business. I've got over 1,000 contacts in my database, right?
Jesus.
Which is part of the problem.
I tell you, that's why I thank God for my young son, Marcelo, who knows how to get. Man, I'm telling you, I had some audio, some messages of Dad on my other phone, some voicemails that I wanted to keep. So I've been keeping that phone forever.
Yeah,
because it had Dad's voice, and
yeah.
One day Marcelo just grabs my phone and he sees that what I'm doing, playing the video. He said, "Oh, I can transfer those over to your new phone, Dad, and make them into a file, and then send them to you in a message." I was like, "What?" I don't know how he did it, but I have them on a message, a text message. Like he sent them through a text message, the link to the audio of the voicemails. And I was like, man, how did you do that?
Well, Roland needs you to send him over to his house so he can.
Yeah.
get his
Send Marcelo
contact
over here to
back
come
up.
help me out, man. Tell him his uncle will pay him because this is bull. Anyway,
I got him.
Well, I'll
I'm
take
sorry.
a crack at it.
I'm gonna just say, for me, the easiest thing for me, and this is why I've stuck with using my Google.
Android.
It's so easy. It's so easy just to transfer everything. Everything's saved in my drive, all my contacts, everything else. So if I buy another Android phone, all I gotta do is use my login and get back in there, and then pull up all my information. I can move all my contacts over. It just makes it so seamless. And then I can also do the same thing to my laptop. Anything that I have on there, I can share.
Well,
I can pull in my.
the thing is with Apple, typically it's that easy.
yeah,
When
it
you
is.
use a single
say
iCloud
this?
login.
They have a cloud.
Roland's problem
Come on,
is
move,
he's
move,
got the family cloud.
move.
So if anything he backs up into the cloud and gets downloaded into Kathy's phone, into RJ's phone, into Alex's
No.
phone, into Annabelle's phone, gets backed up into anybody's phone. And the stuff that they back up does too. Their music gets backed up into Roland's phone.
Well, not anymore
Roland's over
because
there listening to Tech 940 or what's that guy's name?
I set up separate Apple IDs for everybody, so that was part of the problem. So while I still have the family account, everybody underneath me has a separate. Everybody else has a separate sub account. So I kind of got around that, but still, you're right about. The master plan is the fact that I still have on my phone everybody's downloaded music that was originally on my account still shows up on my phone, and I have to go through and I have to edit out.
Well, Hannah Montana and all that stuff.
Oh my god! One day I'm sitting there jamming. I'm driving down the street and I'm jamming, and here comes a Taylor Swift song, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I'm trying to.
Don't lie. You
I was
like
about to
it.
say,
Now you
that's
are
before he realized that he
want
wanted
to
to download it.
shake. I mean,
It's a pretty good album. How can I get the rest of it?
oh my
Watch
god!
me whip.
Just sign into my Apple ID. You can get the whole thing.
No,
You
the
can
problem
get all the Disney songs too.
Good.
you can keep those. Well, first of all, the problem isn't the
Like,
cloud,
never watched Jesse.
because the problem is certain of he has multiple
Right,
emails.
Carly.
Yeah,
And-
I have multiple emails. That's the other thing too.
And the other thing is the Apple process is seamless because, like we were saying earlier, I've set up a new iPhone. I've set up my iPad very seamlessly. Apple has made it easy. But what happened was the guy at the T-Mobile store or wherever he went to get this phone didn't set it up right, because it should transfer over like that.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. And so, I mean, I'll take a look at his phone.
It's like my dad would say, you're not going to find Einstein on minimum wage, homie.
That's a great quote. I'm putting that one in my quote book.
Wait
That's
a
what
minute.
Grandpa-
Wait a minute.
That's
Wait a minute.
disrespectful.
No, wait. You might be able to now if you use like Fiverr. Go find one of these guys who can do that kind of stuff really cheap. In one of these, well, I hate saying third world countries, but yeah, in one of these, like in Malaysia or something. A lot of those guys are pretty good, man. And like what you would think are high wages here, man, it is like they'll sit there and they'll actually create like go in there and create your website, and they'll charge you like $50, $75. I mean, where if you go, I mean, and if you're just trying to build a landing page to have a website to do these sort of things, man, I don't know nothing else that beats that, because if you go try to even look for a low end web developer who can create a website here in the States, you're actually
Hey,
looking like,
Gabriel, I got a question. You running a daycare there, bro?
well, might as well be. I mean,
So it is. That is right there.
this is what happens on Saturday. So, I mean, I gotta get in here. I'm outnumbered. So this is what I get whenever they're running around. And
I got a door over here. I opened it up, man. The Tasmanian devil's gonna come through.
What's that?
Over there, and the Tasmanian devil's gonna come through.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Well, and you know that's I said. I mean, you guys know what it is because we all grew up in that household, right? So it's not the easiest thing to find quiet time when you have a whole troop of just.
Yeah, but they're sitting 25 feet away from the microphone. I can hear them louder than you.
Well, of course, yeah, they're screaming their heads off, man. I can't compete.
He can't compete. Like you said, he's outnumbered.
I'm outnumbered, and then at this point in life, I just go, you know what?
It is what it is.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna just take it to short and just move on, man. I can't really do nothing about it because I'm sitting here. I mean, I really
Hotel Transylvania where they go on the cruise or whatever.
yes.
And the mama wolf and the werewolf, the mom werewolf, the dad werewolf, drop the kids off at the daycare.
Yeah, that's what it is for me, man. It's they're everywhere. I can't. The only way that I could is whenever I was actually hosting in my shed, but because I had to reconfigure my internet and everything else that I used for the kids whenever they went back to school.
Yeah,
I rearranged everything. So I brought everything back into my garage, right? Which is where I originally started. I originally started doing my shows in my garage, and then when I transferred everything out to my shed out there, it was just me out there in the shed. But even that had a problem because if you're doing a live show, right, and you don't have a dynamic mic that just kills your voice up on top of there, if your neighbor, if you're doing a live stream and your neighbor just starts cutting their yard, it's hard to have a conversation, right? Yeah, I mean, I got episodes where you can just hear my neighbor with the weed whacker, like right there next to the thing. I'm going, you know, I gotta. You can only mute your mic so long before you're having an actual conversation with somebody. So when you go,
yeah,
excuse me, I know this is gonna sound weird, but you know, I gotta. I tell them where I'm at. I tell them what's going on, and let them know that there's somebody back behind cutting my yard or doing something. So it's hard to control those things unless you have a really controlled environment. So
I would have just told him my gardener Javier is out back cutting my grass.
yes,
and he's a little loud, so you know, just have to bear with me.
I was gonna say there's only so many Joe Rogans in the world who have their own podcast studio.
right. And one day I want to be there, but until then, this is what I got to deal with. And I tell everybody, you know, I mean, really, I've had conversations with people.
Where's Miguel? Where's Miguel at, man?
Oh, Miguel's right here. Miguel's right over here. No, but
so in other words, Gabriel's is filming from a live studio audience.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it's all about how you spin it, right?
There you go, man. I mean,
sounds like the hard line when they're at a bar. Or something like that.
Oh yeah, whenever they go remote.
Yeah.
Right. So when you clap and let me see if I can get some applause. Hey guys, hey, come here, cheer for me, applaud for me. See, I can't even get that. Jeez.
Wow. It went crickets.
Right. Hey, applaud for me. Say yay. There we go. We got something.
We got one.
That was the most.
Are they all back in school?
Tell them it's time to wash your hands.
All back
in school. I bet they all scatter.
No, they're still online. They're still remote because in Lancaster, what they did was, and they kind of set the date for people who had previously signed up because they were only having limited space and when they were opening the schools back up. So they only had a limited number of space where you could actually send your kids back. So if you didn't sign up at the beginning of the year to do that, then they weren't accepting kids back into school unless until the next 6 weeks passes, right? Well, thing was, this was supposed to happen on October 5th, and then they started reporting cases of teachers actually with no students there getting COVID.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh wow.
Going out and partying.
Yeah.
whatever it was, right?
There was some in-house
So,
fooling around over there at the school.
so they essentially pushed it back to the end of October. So
Mhm.
kids that actually did sign up, or parents who actually did sign up,
Right.
well, they started taking their kids. But here's the problem. Now you
Mhm.
got the same teachers doing in-student learning, and you got teachers still doing the same online classes.
Mhm.
So it's really a real mess, because then you got kids interacting with the teacher live in person, kind of like we're doing here, and then you got kids at home watching. So if the teacher has to step away, or is trying to help one of the kids or something, the other kids are just standing there watching, going, "What do we do?" I mean,
Mhm.
it's a big catch-22, but
Mhm.
again, until we find a permanent solution with the vaccine or something,
Right.
this is going to be the way for a lot of kids, because again, you're talking about,
So
I mean, you're looking at the fact that numbers are starting to spike again, right,
right.
Yep.
all
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah.
where do you think that's going to hit next when it starts getting cold? Kids start getting runny
Sure.
noses, fevers.
Sure.
They don't know how to control that. I mean, we're
Right.
adults and we can't even control this.
Right.
So again, it's going to happen, and when it
We,
does,
not, we can't control it. They're just not going to do it.
Right.
well,
Yeah.
of course, yes. I mean,
So Mando is Mars back in school?
Yeah, Marcelo. Yeah, he is in school. He is going to school, and that's because he says his mother has to work,
Yeah.
goes to work. So that means that him and his sister
They're going
are in school.
in school.
There are 4 children in his class,
Mm-hmm.
and they're behind plexiglass,
Mm-hmm.
separated 6 feet apart,
Sure. Yeah.
and they don't leave the class for anything other than go to the restroom.
Yeah.
They even have their lunch.
Oh, they even have their lunch in the classroom?
Yeah. So what happens is the teachers are the ones who rotate.
That rotate. Yeah.
Whenever a new period starts.
Ah.
So the kids stay in the same class throughout the entire day. They're zapped before they come into the school, and that's how they do it.
Yeah.
But
Well, my daughter just started.
The kids who are at the school, who are at home,
Mm-hmm.
they can still go and pick up their lunch there. Or something. Not sure
Yeah.
how that. But I guess the parent or someone, whoever their guardian is, can go to the school and pick up the kids' lunch if they're at home.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, my daughter just started back last week. Yeah, we've been very fortunate. Her school hadn't really had any really issues. I think, just her being isolated at home because she's the youngest, and her older brothers are both working. So at times, even though we're here at the house or working from home, or my wife's here, she feels isolated because she's just by herself all day.
Yeah.
So, with some precautions and a lot of talking, we've decided to let her go back. And so far, it's been good. I mean, when she goes to lunch, though, she has to sit behind one of those plexiglass barriers.
But let me ask you, how many uniforms do you have for her? What's the protocol like when she comes home? Is it like when she gets home, she immediately takes a shower,
Yes.
changes clothes?
Yep. She comes home, changes clothes. She showers, changes clothes. So, I mean, we have multiple uniforms for her anyway, just because that was, my way of, well, I say my way, my wife and my way of making sure that she always had. I mean, so she's got like at least 3 or 4 uniforms, so that at any time, you're washing 2. and she's older now, so she's wearing a vest, or she's wearing the polos with the skirt, the socks. I mean, she's in Catholic school. So she's got multiple changes. And yes, the protocol, we discussed all this when we decided to send her back, was that, and she's got, I don't know, 15 masks, so that she's wearing a fresh mask every day. And then there's enough extra so that my wife can continually wash them. And we've got hand sanitizer out the wazoo. I mean, we've got, I don't know, 25 bottles all over this house. And, the good thing for me is she was always very structured with her hygiene anyway. I mean, when you're growing up, we taught her to wash her hands after almost everything. And she's just so, she's so resourceful and almost the self-starter. I mean, it's been easy for me. It's been so easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even have to get her up and get her ready in the mornings anymore. She's up. I get up. I roll out of bed. I open the door to check on her. I see she's up. She's moving. Then I just got to put out the dogs, get them fed, and then if I got to take out trash, whatever chores I got, then go get ready. So it's been so far it's been easy, and I'm knocking on wood. Obviously you're just one outbreak away from from going right back to the way it was.
Yeah. But Bernadette has a coworker, and that she takes care of her granddaughter, and the granddaughter at the beginning of the school year wanted to go back to school because she's very social. And then she did that for like maybe a month, and then she told her mother or her grandmother that she didn't want to do it anymore, just because of the things that she had to do after school, like changing of the clothes, showering, or whatever it is that the person's protocol is for them to get into the house. She's like, I don't want to do this. It's just easier for me to be online, and I can be in the same clothes. I don't have to wash as much. I don't have to, So she decided to just stay at home. The daughter did, the granddaughter.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty weird.
Well,
So I was like, Marcelo, how did you do it? Because we just didn't know. It's like I didn't ask those questions when Marcelo told me. I was like, well, how do you do it? How many uniforms do you have? How many masks do you have? Like when you get home, what do? Do you immediately change? Are you taking a shower? What are you doing to ensure that you're not bringing anything home to your family? Because obviously they already had one outbreak,
right?
Earlier this year, and to me, the consensus there was, hey, it happened, so what? What do you want me to do about it? It didn't seem like anyone was taking the lead to like say, okay, let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. We don't know what's going to happen.
Well, the first day we sent her back, and it was time to go pick her up. RJ was telling his mom, "Hey, take the Lysol with you and spray her down before she even gets in the car."
Hey,
messed up, dude.
Well, listen to this. So,
injector. With some
when we got back from Vegas just the other day, Annabelle, or my wife and my daughter came to pick us up. And as RJ and I are loading up our bags in the back of the car, she jumps out with a can of Lysol and she starts spraying.
Let's see RJ's butt. Yeah, Baron.
Yeah. She's like,
dropping bombs.
Hey, you turned it against me, and now it's going on you, buddy.
I call that the virus exterminator, Uncle Renee.
That's what keeps you immune.
That's what keeps him immune.
Out your rear end.
Gross.
It overpowers the virus.
Kills it. Contact. We can't do
Well, and going back to what you guys are talking about here, I mean, it's great what happened today. all the people celebrating, but I saw so many people
Oh,
on
no kidding.
on live TV,
Yeah.
like no masks,
No
or they
social
have,
distancing.
or they might have a mask on, right? But they got
Right.
it under their chin. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the point? I
Right.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
so when we see it in 3 weeks, when numbers start to spike again for whatever reason, and they go, oh, now we'll have a way to go back and say, hey,
Well, and
we know
here's the
why.
other stark reality. Look, I mean, so let's just assume
People are going to do what
pray
people are
and
gonna do.
hope.
Yep.
Let's just assume
That's
a
true,
pray and
Courtney.
hope that Trump, he, when he transitions out, he does it gracefully, and when Joe Biden's in office, I'd be curious to see how all the people that were blaming Trump for the numbers
COVID outbreaks. Yeah.
yeah, all of a sudden, who they're blaming when Joe Biden's in office and the numbers don't come down.
Well, here's the
Because
problem: is you won't hear it because the media won't.
Administration.
What's
They're gonna
that?
blame the previous administration.
Of
This
course,
is-
no, I get you. I know that. I guess what I'm saying, the reality is, the truth of the matter is, the only thing that really controls the numbers is us.
Yeah.
And if, like you said earlier, Renee, if I mean, we know how to do this, we just don't. We choose not to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every day, the entire time we were out, I was telling the story. We went to go eat at one restaurant, right? And, we hadn't been out in restaurants for a while, but, we slowly have gone, particularly if they have patios and we can eat outside. However, on this trip, we went to a couple of restaurants and for the most part, the restaurants were doing, I think, at least a decent job in spacing out people in the dining room.
Everybody. Yeah.
But the last day they were there, the place we went to go eat breakfast sure as hell didn't. I mean, because every booth was full, and even though they had tables, a couple of tables in between, that entire dining room was packed. And I said, "Whoa! I hope we don't get anything out of here." Again, knocking on wood. But where I was going with that is, you just see it that I think people just have tired. They're just tired.
Yeah. It's
People are living as if it doesn't.
They're complacent. They're fatigued. They just
That's what it's called.
It
COVID
happens.
fatigue.
Yeah, COVID fatigue. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the catchphrase it's getting called now, because people are just tired, and they're like, you know what, I want to go back to living a normal life.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I get it.
Here's the thing, man. You talk about what are you going to say when you hear about the numbers and spikes and blah, 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 but you won't hear about those things because at that point, the media won't be as apt to report it as they were when Donald Trump was president. That's just the bottom line.
Well,
The media, hold on, let's be honest here. The media plays a really big part in how big the COVID scare really was. Because when you have everybody on TV panicking and saying this, and this, and reporting all these, and there's documented cases of media playing up reports of people who are sick and dying, and it's not just with COVID. Look at when some of those hurricanes hit last year, where the Weather Channel got busted with their anchors reporting all this damage, and a lot of it was fake. There was that one scene where CNN had what's his face, Anderson Cooper, was reporting waist deep waters and blah 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 blah, and he was in this flooded town, and there were two people walking behind him like nothing was going on. The media loves to play tricks on us. That's just the bottom line.
Well,
So
of course it is.
So the PAs have gone away as well. Like, you don't see, like, when it first started, the pandemic, where these PAs were coming on and saying, remember to wash your hands, remember to scrub down your used area. You don't see that at all anymore.
The PSAs now.
No, you don't see them at all. You don't see any public announcement on TV or radio saying, hey, remember to wash your hands. Hey, remember to, stay at home if you're feeling sick. Remember to write down commonly used areas.
Well, there's a trick that's used in retail to try to keep people engaged and interested in different products. And that's the fact that every quarter, most retail places will change out their advertising announcements in store. right? Because the fact of the matter is, when you walk by a poster that's selling a certain phone every day for a year, the first couple of months you may actually see that poster, but the last
Close
part of
that door.
you're going to ignore that poster because you see it every day. It becomes part of life to you, right? So what you're not seeing now in a lot of places are people just ignoring the 6 feet apart signs and the wear your mask signs and the, one way direction in your grocery store signs.
Oh
That
yeah,
stuff,
that's so.
because it's been there so long,
that
people
was the
no longer
worst.
pay attention to it.
Yeah,
Now,
that
I
was the worst.
Post office.
They might as well just pull those up off the ground right now because nobody. I look at them all the time and I'm like, okay, am I supposed to be on this aisle going this way? But I see people on the aisles all the time. We're just like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm gonna walk this aisle the way that I want to. I need to get.
Hey, let me just give a quick shout out to one of my friends, Mr. Nick Lozano. He's a fellow live streamer. Pretty cool dude, man. And we just connected not too long ago. But he's got his own live stream show that he does. So appreciate you stopping by, Nick, man. Just want to throw him a quick shout out. So I'm commenting in the comments there. So that's who
Thanks,
you know
Nick.
who it is. So
We appreciate the feedback, bud.
Hey man, you know that they sell trimming beard things,
well,
then you need-
well, you know what this is? This is
No.
proof that I don't dye. I don't do anything.
Oh,
It's all come back natural. I shaved it all off. I went live and was on there for weeks where I was just bare face, baby face again. Each episode, now I have evidence proof. I just got to cut them, splice them, put them together, and say, "Here you go. This is all natural, baby. There's nothing."
Dude, just for men takes 5 seconds when you're growing it out, too.
How would you know?
How would you?
Hey,
Exactly.
Yeah.
How would you know?
You can't say nothing, dude.
No,
'cause
I'm talking about up here. You
Oh,
know,
brother, this is all
bro.
natural
like
right
you like
here.
to talk about,
That's
right?
suspect up there. Yeah,
That's all natural right here, baby. Right here.
Sure.
I'm going for the.
I'm 90.
I'm going for the raw man.
Take your computer
Don't
to the bathroom. Take it to the bathroom. Open up the cabinet, the cabinet, medicine cabinet.
Yeah,
there.
no. That ain't gonna work, Junior. Junior, that ain't gonna work because he's gonna say it's Diana. So he's gonna say, no, that's
Yeah,
Diana's.
it's her dye. It's her dye.
That's her work die. That's what
Yeah.
he's gonna say. Nah, it ain't gonna work.
Don't let the fact that I'm married to a hairdresser fool you guys into thinking that this ain't natural, baby. It's all natural right here.
Whatever.
Man,
That's a toupee I've never seen one.
Whatever. No,
Well,
this right here for you is a toupee. Oh,
What
Ryan
ain't fool?
Fitzpatrick looking.
so,
Don't hate.
that's the whole that's the whole thing about being able to do this here. It's like I'm like the reverse of you, Jay. See, down here you got all that gray crap down here in your beard, right? And it's horrible looking, right? So you can see that.
What are you talking about? This is
And then-
distinguished looking.
And then on mine is opposite. So this girl's in all like dark black. It's really jet black here. And then on top, I'm all salt and pepper on the top there. It's really noticeable. But with the hat like this looks awesome. It makes it
And
just look.
the drapes match the
Okay.
carpet.
Huh? What?
What are you saying?
Oh my
The
god.
drapes match the carpet.
Do the carpets match the drapes, bro?
Whatever.
Well,
It's the same, right?
on that
Oh.
note,
I don't. Well, it is in a 69. So in a 69, you're right. It is the other way around. Well, I'm not
All
breaking
right,
my contract here. I'm not
Okay,
breaking my
live.
contract.
Live.
What number?
Live.
What number was it?
6'9". 6'9".
Nice.
well,
Nice.
6'9", right? I'm not breaking.
Very nice.
What did I say?
Very nice.
Again, it's
Live.
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 That's right.
but
Wow.
before the FCC
Wow.
issues us another warning,
But you didn't answer the
Um,
question, though, man.
we just
So
oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
So I can tell you
Um,
right now, it may be dark right here, but it ain't dark down there.
Oh my gosh. Well, we
Where-
just want to thank everyone who
On
checked
my
us out
chest.
tonight
I'm talking about my chest.
Nick,
for
thanks for watching, Nick.
yeah,
you,
thanks Nick for watching the Now That You Mention It podcast. We all really enjoyed doing this, and it was a pleasure having on Uncle Renee for the first time.
Uncle Renee.
And Uncle
Yeah, Uncle Renee.
Hey, I've been called worse. What did,
the
what did your dad call me?
Renabler. And it was good to have Uncle Gabriel back again.
Man, I remember you.
Oh no! So,
Hey,
so
Junior.
Kathy's, look at the comments. Kat, pull them up. Jay, pull that comment up. Kathy
Hey,
just
Junior.
put on there. So
Hey, Junior,
she
the
just-
other day,
Who that? Uncle, who that?
we went to Toby's.
Who the hell is that?
We went to Toby's, man. And you know what? One of the memories we were talking about. Remember how we used to have talent shows in the den?
there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look
Remember
at
how
the-
we used to do
the
the talent shows? Huh?
Oh gosh, yes.
I remember.
And you remember that one time when you got up there and you started singing Michael Jackson's "Beat It"?
Oh wow.
Why they had to go there, bro? Why they had to go there?
That's
Why they talk about old stuff?
Yeah. Why you got?
my stuff.
What do you?
We all-
hold on. I was
we all
there.
can't-
What do you mean, y'all? Like you weren't?
Yeah,
kicking in
yeah,
on it,
Jay.
too.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Let-
Right.
As Jesus said, "Let he without sin cast the
I
first
said you're a
stone."
hot monkey.
like I am the judge, the
I was like
jury, and
5
the
years
executioner. Okay. Just remember that line. I'm the judge.
And I couldn't say. What are the words?
Oh wow.
I don't know the words. I keep saying you're a hot monkey.
Sorry.
You're a hot monkey. You're a hot monkey.
There you go. He's reliving a dream, man. He's
Right. It does,
so
right?
so
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh!
So now,
Just beat it. Mm-mm.
okay, that's easy for the host to do. That's
For the host to do, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
anyways.
Right.
Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean. Turn on the notifications. Leave us a rating and review. If you're watching on YouTube, well,
You man.
forget that. If you're watching on Facebook, like and
Thank
subscribe.
you,
Yeah.
Thank you.
well,
G-Man.
even on YouTube, man. Tell them on YouTube.
Give me a sponsor. Yeah. YouTube. Like and subscribe because I'm sure we'll upload it. Click the bell to get notifications so that when our newest episode drops, you can be one of the first to know. Go find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit by typing in the Now That You Mention It podcast and hitting the follow button.
Okay.
Before you sign off, let's give first of all, let's give Gabriel a plug over here. Go ahead, Gabriel. Plug your
Okay, guys. So, Jay, if you can pull up just any of the MFSB Live YouTube comments channels there. I host my own live show Monday through Friday, 7:30 Central Standard Time. I stream live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn. So I stream to 6 different platforms all at the same time, guys. You can go catch any of my work by going to the YouTube channel. I have over 167 episodes at this point. So you can go back and watch any of the episodes if you would like. And I'm actually remote producing for a few other people. So I'm actually hosting their shows for them where I put together the whole layout and everything else. And, I kind of put everything together for them to stream and make their job a little bit easier. So one of the things we're about to work on is
I want to give Renee enough time too. So let's save a little bit of time for Renee to plug his Latinos for the Mandalorian webpage. And
thank Disney Plus for Mandalorian every week, man, because I don't know where my life would be without Mandalorian. I also like to thank Bristol for making a hell of a vacuum.
there you go, right?
That dude will make a mess. And if it wasn't for Bristol vacuum, we'd be up creek.
Last but not least, before we go, I do
Thank you to Jesse P. Oh.
No. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to wish a very, very, very happy 50th birthday to my big brother Roland.
Yes.
Yeah.
His birthday. So happy birthday, big brother, for making it to the big 5-0.
Well,
Happy birthday, Dad.
Thank you, guys, and I want to tell you first of all that I love each and every single one of you guys. I mean,
Well,
it
we
has
kind of
been-
like you, so
it's been a blessing, really, that I grew up with great cousins, with great brothers. That we've always been close, and even though when we get mad at each other, we always have stuck together. So, thanks everybody for the birthday wishes. Hopefully we kick the shit out. And pardon my French, but we kick the shit out of this COVID so we can get back together as a family.
Yep.
But thank you for sharing your Saturday with us. RJ, finished the sign off.
And thank you to Jesse P, because we couldn't do it without you.
Amen.
Yo,
Good night.
all right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Thank you for joining us for our first live broadcast. We appreciate it.
Ladies.